Nice if you could just hit one button to do all of this.
Yeah,
I suspect there's a way to do that. What do they call those? Macros?
Oh, yeah. Something that just runs behind the scene.
Well, it does. It takes you through several steps just by hitting one control.
You can make them in Excel, but
Okay. Well, what happened? I lost. Sean Carroll. And, well, let's do the beaky, or what the heck is that? J-H-A. All right, Shannon, put us on, please.
Okay.
It's gotta be.
Hello.
Good morning. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your name.
It's Vicky.
Last name?
Ja.
Ja, okay. All right, this is the matter of Ja versus Ja. We're scheduled for a pre-trial this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And do you expect Mr. Ja to show up?
No, not really.
Okay, so looks like he was served. He acknowledged service. He's not filed any opposition.
Mm-hmm.
According to the complaint for divorce, you're not looking for any assets. You're not looking for spousal support. You just simply want to be divorced.
Yes, correct.
Okay, let me take some proofs in support of a divorce judgment.
Okay.
Since Mr. Ja is not present today, I can take that because of his default. Raise your right hand, please. You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your full name for the record.
Vicky Ja.
Ms. Ja, you filed a complaint for divorce back in August. Was everything in that complaint for divorce true at the time that you filed it?
Yes.
And is it still true today?
Yes.
That complaint states that there's been a breakdown in the marriage relationship
True.
and that there's no possibility of reconciliation. Is that still true?
Yes, true.
It also states that there are no minor children of the marriage and that you are not pregnant. Is that also true?
True. Yep.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to fill out a judgment of divorce for you right now. So that we can get this done. Do you wish to have your maiden name or another name restored to you?
Whatever is it right now, it is fine for me.
So you're going to keep the same last name?
Yes.
You can change it at some time in the future if you choose to. It's a pretty simple process.
Okay.
What's not so simple is going through the hassle of changing your driver's license and social security card and things like that, but the name itself is pretty easy.
Yes.
All right, give me a moment here to fill out the form. And according to the complaint, when it was filed, you were both still living at the same address. Is that still true?
Yes, we still live like together with my family, but yeah, we just don't have like good understanding. So that's what it is, and we're gonna stay like for a while. Like we're gonna share same apartment for now, and then yeah, that's it.
So you are from Nepal.
Yes, correct.
Are you a mountain climber?
No, never been there though.
Okay, this will be by default. There are no children. No name change. No spousal support for either party. Beneficiary rights extinguished. Pension rights extinguished. You each get to keep the property in your possession. Is it correct that you own no real estate?
What was that again?
Is it correct that you don't own a house?
Yes, yeah, I don't.
And Mr. Jha does not own a house?
No.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Jha, you are now divorced. We'll make sure that a copy of this gets sent to you. Any questions for me?
No, not for right now. So how long it gonna take to get a copy?
Well, normally I'd say you could stop down here and get a copy, but
Yeah,
we're close to the public right now. If I stick it in the mail today, you should have it within a week. Do you need it sooner than that?
not actually. I don't, cause we live with our family. I don't want my parents to know this, so that's why I was like, if there was like any
Ah,
way, you know.
okay. Yes, you can make arrangements to pick it up.
Mm.
Do you know when you can come down here?
Bu- so they are closed right now, so I don't know when they're gonna
You
open.
you can make an appointment to pick something up.
Uh, um, so how do I make like appointment for that?
Well, you can do it. You can do it right now just by telling me when you're going to be here, and I'll make arrangements for it to be at the security desk for you to pick up.
I can be here tomorrow.
All right. Uh,
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll have it held for you in an envelope at the main entrance on Wesley Street.
Okay.
You'll come up to the door. It'll be locked, but just tell them that you're there to pick something up, and they will be holding it for you.
All right. Thank you so much. So anytime tomorrow?
Uh, yeah, we're open from 8 o'clock until 4:30.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just pick it up.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
make arrangements for that. It is your responsibility to serve Mr. Jha with a copy of this.
All right. Yep, I will.
So we'll have two copies, one for you and one for him.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Peter, would you take care of that?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Okay, Susan, Ms. McCluskey has logged in, but she's not sitting at her chair. We are on the record. It's just too hard to turn it on and off.
Sure.
And we're live streaming, so. Hopefully she's not far away. We still don't have an audio connection with her though. I know at her home she has internet issues, just like I do at mine. But I'm not sure if that's her office or home.
Yeah, I can't tell. I'm very excited. I just put a cell booster on my roof and I can Zoom from home now, whereas before I couldn't even make phone calls from home.
Wow, that's great. We
Yeah.
had someone come out and evaluate us for a cell booster. And he said, and the reason I was doing it wasn't for cell service. We had adequate cell service. But I was hoping to speed up the internet
Yep.
over the wireless. But he said, I'm not going to be able to help you that much. He said, I wouldn't spend the money. He says, but if your signal is really weak, then he can help.
Yeah,
So apparently yours.
I couldn't even reliably make phone calls from my house. Text messages would take 4 or 5 times to go out and you couldn't send a long text message. And I had satellite internet, which was awful. So now I have cell phone and a hotspot that work. I get 3 or 4 bars consistently and the Zoom worked. I wouldn't want to do it for a complicated hearing. There's a little bit of a video lag, but the audio sounded fine. So I'm glad to have the option. I was excited.
What is this option you're talking about? Because my internet's horrible at home.
I put up a cell booster antenna on my roof and am using just a hotspot through Nomad now.
Cool.
And I can send you the information. The techie guy who hooked me up with everything
Awesome.
came out and played with a variety of different options, and
Yeah, in this world,
it worked great.
Yeah. So, Judge, I was going to tell you, because you're in Frontier land, right, Judge? Frontier Communication.
Yes.
So it was actually Dish Network. They were out doing something to my cable, and I purchased like these Google boosters, like they're Google Wi-Fi boosters from them. And I think it was like $200 for 3 of them, and they put them around my house. And it actually has been like brilliant. I can watch Netflix. I'm Zooming right now from home on the actual Frontier.
Really?
So that's worked really well. Yeah. Just FYI.
Fantastic.
If you need to Zoom from home here when they shut us down again.
We had the antenna man come out to our house.
Oh, I saw
and
this.
he ran around with a much better device for measuring signal strength than the bars on your phone. And he recommended against adding anything else, that the existing internet we're using, which is essentially like a hotspot through Verizon, he said he wouldn't spend any more money, that's the best we were going to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, good morning, Rebecca. I'm glad you got your internet issues working.
Yeah, well, for the most part, we have bad days.
So what's going on with the LaFlamme's?
Judge, they own a bunch of apartments, and it looks like we're going to need to get appraisals on those apartments. The bank, when they started talking initially about splitting things up, had had some appraisals done through them, but they don't reflect they reflect them as single family residences as opposed that are being rented out as a 1 unit as opposed to 2 or 4 unit. So they're not very useful appraisals. So I think we're going to actually have to pay to get some appraisals done. And hopefully that will help us to move forward. My client's got some significant health issues at this point. She's not able to work. Our only real concern is the management of the apartments pending the final resolution of the case.
So is this plumbing and heating, LaFlamme's?
No.
So how much time do you need?
I usually work with Pat Jors or Tom Hardwick, and they work pretty quickly. I haven't done an appraisal. Honestly, I don't think I've done one since COVID, so I'm not sure what their backlog is. But they usually, I don't know, I'd say 3 weeks for them, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's done a couple for me recently and they've been quick.
Okay. And I do
1
have
month adjournment, 2 months adjournment?
What do you think, Susan? Maybe even 6 weeks to be safe?
Yeah, I would say 6 weeks-ish.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll have termination hearing.
I'll have Dawn find you some new dates, 6 weeks out. And we'll see you back here.
Okay.
And Judge, just for your planning purposes, you've got 2 evidentiary hearings with me on Monday. One of them, the other side just hired a new attorney. He just filed a motion, which he scheduled for the same day, but it's a lot of the same issues. So I think we're gonna do a stip to adjourn that evidentiary hearing so we can address everything in one hearing. That's Goebel. And Peterson with Jim Fleming. My client's coworker is out with COVID, which makes coverage very difficult for her. And it's a exhibit intensive hearing, which is hard on Zoom. And Mr. Fleming and I are either going to resolve the case tomorrow or probably also be seeking to bump that. So that's your Monday morning we're busy screwing with, just so you know.
Okay, well, as long as you're not making it busier, it sounds like you're making it easier, so.
It would definitely
I'm
be
okay with
opening
that.
things up. All right?
All right,
Just wanted
thank
to give
you.
a heads up.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Appreciate that.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good day,
Bye-bye.
both of you.
Thanks, you too.
Called in. See you later. All right. Bye-bye. Well, good
Mr.
morning.
Carroll, good morning. And your client is now present.
Tyler, can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine. Mr. Hirschberger, can you hear me? No.
Tyler, can you hear us?
It doesn't show as being muted. He needs to play with his audio settings. Oh, here we go. We just weren't connected. Mr. Hirschberger, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Shannon, this is Hirschberger versus Hirschberger. And it looks like you're prepared to move forward with a proofs in support of a default judgment, Mr. Carroll?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Hirschberger, would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your full name for the record.
Tyler Lindell Hirschberger.
So before we go any further, you can put your hand down. I just want to make sure that Lacey Hirschberger is not in my waiting room. I don't believe so. I see 3 names that are identified. And I see a phone number, but it doesn't match the one that's on the pleadings. So I'm going to assume that she is not present. Go ahead, Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. Tyler, do we file a divorce without children in this matter back on September 21st of this year?
That is correct.
In that allegation, in the allegations of that complaint for divorce, were they true at that time?
Yes.
And are they still true today?
Yes.
There were no children born of this marriage,
Correct.
and this marriage was just slightly over a year as you were married on June 25th of 2019. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There was no real property acquired during this marriage.
Correct.
And essentially, when she left, she took her property with her when she left in July. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And left you pretty much with what you have in your possession.
Correct.
We have entered I prepared a default judgment divorce that you came in and signed this week. Does that believe, in your opinion, make an equitable division of the assets of the marriage?
Yes.
And essentially, we have two cars. You have one, she has one, but the debt is in both of your names. Is that your understanding?
Correct.
And you understand that we might need the court's help later if she chooses not to make the payments on the car that she's received.
Correct.
And then I guess vice versa, if you didn't
Yeah.
make the payments on the car that you received.
Yes.
Has there been a breakdown of the marriage relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony, the reasons that you got married, are destroyed?
Yes.
Is there any reasonable likelihood that you and she can reconcile?
No.
I've presented this judgment to the court. I'm going to ask him to sign it. Is that what you desire, Mr. Hirschberger?
Yes.
You understand that once it's filed with the clerk, you will be divorced?
Yes.
Judge, I would so move.
So I do find there's been a breakdown in the marriage, that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed, that there is no likelihood of reconciliation. I thought there was a 60-day waiting period between filing and entry of a judgment.
Judge, I think you probably, you know what, you are correct, unless there were exigent circumstances of which I do not have. So if we want, is 60 days at your trial date, or, because I'm not certain which was the 60 days.
I'm looking, they set the trial date before the 60 day. As soon as you asked him September 21st, it immediately got my attention. That would be November 20, well, somewhere close to November 20th. I don't think I can sign this without exigent circumstances.
No, and I don't believe I have them, Judge, and I guess would you, do we want to set a second pretrial for that date and then just have these preserved? Or, because I don't know, I mean, basically we're asking you to hold it until the 60 days.
I'm not even sure that the proofs would be preserved. Let me think. Yeah, we can do that because of the date today. Let's, I'm going to remove the trial date. I'm going to give you a status conference date on November. Look at my calendar.
Sam, we're looking at a date in November. Is it 19th?
November,
Oops.
let's set it for the 25th, but I can sign that
25?
judgment. I can sign that judgment, so 60 days from September 21st, October 20th, so November 20th. So let's just set the status conference for November 20th, and I can sign the judgment on that day.
And that's in the morning, Judge, right?
Yes.
All right, so we just like 10 o'clock, 9:30. I don't know that we need to see each other, but I guess it wouldn't be bad. Just so I agree, I like to tickle it. This works as a tickle in my system as well.
All right, let's set it for 8:30
Okay.
on the 20th.
Tyler, do you understand what we've done there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I may not need you to be on Zoom, depending, I'll touch base with the court ahead of time, but if so, we'll do the same thing. And the judge can sign the
Okay.
judgment that day, unless something, maybe she comes up and decides she wants to participate, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Okay, thank you. Have a good
all
day.
right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Have a good morning.
So why do they do that? They know better than this. Would it do any good for me to send a email?
Judge, I am not commenting on anything about the clerk's office. I have no idea. Do what you want.
Okay, so that brings us to the 10 o'clock matters. Let me see who's here. DeForest. Ash. Okay, this is the matter of DeForest versus DeForest. Kelly DeForest, I see that you have signed in. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And Ashley DeForest, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we are here on Mr. DeForest's objection to the recommended child support order. I'm sorry, Ms. DeForest's objection. And I'm reading the objection. You claim that you're staying at home and unemployed because you're taking care of and homeschooling your 5-year-old son. I'm sure the referee explained to you when you're voluntarily unemployed and able to work, the court will impute income to you. So that's going to happen. The only real question in my mind is, did it get imputed at the right rate? According to Mr. Manzer's recommended order, let me see what he did. He calculated you at $10 per hour at 40 hours a week, based on potential unexercised income. You stated your objection that the last time you were employed, you were working only 30 hours a week. I mean, it is correct. You are physically able to hold a job, correct?
Yes.
I mean, often what we do is we impute at minimum wage. He's got you at a little bit higher rate, and I'm not sure what the difference would be. Peter, do you know what the minimum wage in Michigan is currently?
I'll say 925. 965.
965. $10 an hour then is reasonable. If you were making that 8 years ago, it's likely you'd be earning more than that today anyway. Ma'am, is there anything else that you had to say?
Last time I worked 9 years ago, it was only part-time. And due to Kelly neglecting to follow the judgment, I have a garnishment against any potential wages. So anytime I were to go get a job or even a checking account for that matter, I will get money taken for a responsibility that's not mine.
Well, there's a remedy if he was supposed to take care of a debt and didn't. There's a remedy under the judgment of divorce.
Yes, sir.
that you
I
need to
filed
file.
a motion for that. And he didn't show up to court for that a couple weeks ago.
The remedy, is basically in the nature of a money judgment. Essentially, let me take a look at the summary. I wasn't paying much attention to his wages. Yeah, he works at Gerdau. He makes $28.75 a week. He's certainly subject to garnishment, ma'am. You just have to reduce whatever it is you were required to pay to a money judgment, and you can file a garnishment against him. But that's going to be separate from child support. Those are going to be wholly separate.
Okay, but I can't. If I get a job, they're going to garnish my wages. I homeschool my son. I can't afford to get a daycare and not homeschool my son and then go get a job and get my wages taken for a garnishment that I'm not even supposed to be responsible for.
Well,
I don't
that
have
can all be-
$14,000 to pay for something that is not mine. $14,000.
You've got a judgment against you, but you haven't yet paid any of that judgment, correct?
I have gotten some garnished from me, but I'm talking potential wages, tax returns, checking account. Any kind of income that is going to come towards me, I will get taken for Kelly's.
Has any amount been garnished from your tax returns, earnings, bank account, any source for this debt that Mr. DeForest was supposed to pay?
One time so far, but I took my name off of that checking account so that it didn't happen again. Around $200 was taken, but that's not really my concern. My concern is the potential. I mean, when I decide to get back into the workforce.
Was this a joint debt, or was it a debt in your name that he was supposed to pay?
I was a co-signer for his vehicle that he did not pay for. He let go back to the bank, and they repossessed it.
I assume they got a judgment against both of you then. Is that correct, Mr. DeForest?
Yes.
And I'm assuming they are collecting from your wages to pay that debt.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, go ahead.
I have paid them about $3,000 this year.
All right. Well, they're just going to keep garnishing. They're going to keep garnishing until that's paid. But in that is an issue that's completely separate and distinct from the manner in which child support is calculated. And there's a remedy for dealing with that, ma'am. If you do happen to get garnished anymore for his debt, you will be able to recover that. But that's got nothing to do with the child support determination. If you're able to work and choosing not to because there's an unpaid debt, or because you want to care for your child, or because you don't want to have to bear the expense of child care, child care expenses get taken into account in calculating child support, but right now you don't have any. I'm satisfied that the referee used the right reasoning and came to the right decision. I'm denying the objection. This support order is going to go into effect. That concludes our hearing.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So we, Peter, we just need to do an order denying the objection. Okay, oops. This was fun-based, I guess we threw away. All right, next up. Gates versus Negus. Nope. Yeah, that's right. Doesn't look like anyone's here on this matter. There's a note on the file. No proof of service. So I'm assuming for that reason they're not appearing. Their names don't appear on the list in the waiting room. So Gates versus Gates. We won't be hearing. Let's see. Next is Pomeroy. All right. James Pomeroy. This is a matter of Pomeroy versus Pomeroy.
Yes, sir.
And let's see, what is this up for? Oh, okay. You were here back in May trying to get your divorce, but you never submitted a proposed divorce judgment. I now have one in front of me. But I don't see, are you expecting Ms. Pomeroy to participate this morning?
I honestly have no clue, sir.
I don't see her signed in.
I can try to send her a text message.
I've got a phone number. Let me try to call her.
Okay.
I'm assuming she's the one that submitted this proposed judgment of divorce.
Yes, she had, from what I understand, is she submitted it to the wrong place and didn't get to you guys until we got this hearing thing. Then she realized it was the wrong place she submitted it to, so she resubmitted it.
All right, let me see if I can get her on the phone.
The number or code you have dialed is incorrect. Please check the number or code and try again.
El número o código que usted ha marcado es incorrecto. Por favor, verifique el número o código.
Yeah, because that number that was on the proposed judgment was wrong. What is the new number?
I could look it up.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Her new phone number is 517-388-4104.
Let me try that.
Hello?
Good morning. This is Judge LaFlamme. Are you Leanne Pomeroy?
Yes, sir.
Your divorce case was scheduled for a hearing this morning for me to take some proof so that we can get a judgment of divorce entered. You submitted a proposed judgment to the court?
I did,
All
sir.
right.
I did that last week.
I've got that in front of me right now. So I know I took some proof several months ago, but I've got to do it again. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
State your full name for the record.
Leanne Catherine Pomeroy.
Ms. Pomeroy, you filed a complaint for divorce. Wow, it's been over a year now. August 5th of 2019. Was everything in that complaint for divorce true at the time you filed it?
Yes.
And is it still true today?
Yes.
It appears that there are 3 minor children currently living, born or adopted during your marriage to Mr. Pomeroy. Jamie, Kaylee, and Miranda. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you have any other children during the marriage that are not Mr. Pomeroy's?
No.
Are you pregnant today?
No.
Is there any possibility of the two of you reconciling?
No.
Okay, I have a proposed judgment of divorce. Mr. Pomeroy, have you seen this?
I have not seen what she's written up. I live like an hour and a half away, an hour away.
All right. So it awards legal custody for the 2 children to the 2 of you. It awards physical custody of the 3 children to her. It doesn't state anything about parenting time, but there is a temporary order in place that looks like gives you every other weekend reasonable rights of parenting time.
We wanted to follow that order.
All right, and you're okay with that being part of the final judgment, Mr. Pomeroy?
The only thing that I didn't see put in there is when I do end up moving back to Jackson, I get 50-50 custody. That's what me and her had talked about. That's the only thing I didn't see here in there.
That's something the 2 of you can always agree to do, but I can't order it without a hearing. If the 2 of you stipulate to it and you modify, that can happen, but the court, I can't just do that automatically.
I understand. I don't know if anytime soon I'll be moving back to Jackson, but I guess when I do, we can always come back type of thing and agree to it.
Yes. Okay, and the current order for child support, et cetera, is being followed?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. I will put a provision in this judgment that says that the temporary order regarding custody, parenting time, and child support will be incorporated into the judgment of divorce. Have you already divided all of your personal property?
For the most part, I haven't been able to get up there and get that antique dresser yet. I'm having problems trying to find somebody with a truck or something to get it.
Other than the antique dresser, which is set forth in the proposed judgment of divorce, you've separated your property.
Yes, sir.
You, Ms. Pomeroy, are going to be responsible for the balance owing on the Ally financial debt?
That's not what was originally agreed on. That was supposed to be split 50-50.
Oh, okay. Well, I see that. And I didn't understand that from reading it, but when I read the next paragraph, which is exactly the same, it looks like that total debt is $2,500 and you're splitting it equally?
Correct.
And Mr. Pomeroy, you're okay with that?
I'm not even sure what that debt's for, honestly. but if we were married, I
It's
guess
for the
no.
van that had both of our names on it.
Did you hear that?
Okay.
Did that vehicle get damaged or repossessed?
It got repossessed, Your Honor.
The judgment gives Ms. Pomeroy the right to claim the exemptions for the children, which is consistent with her having them the majority of the time. Then that's normally what I would order. Do either of you own any real estate?
No.
No, sir.
All right, I'm confused. Ma'am, you put in the other provisions section that you will file 2019 taxes jointly. But, and then it says, and then split it equally 50-50. Are you talking about splitting the refund equally?
Yeah, that's what we did for 2019. And then for 2020, we're going to go ahead with me claiming the kids.
Haven't you already filed your 2019 taxes?
We did, but I put that in there before we had done that.
I got you. And you've already split the refund?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to strike that just so it doesn't create any confusion in the future.
Okay.
And we'll go with the addendum as to the future taxes. And I don't remember if I asked you this, ma'am, but is there any possibility of the two of you reconciling?
No.
Okay. Got to plug in the date from the temporary order. And I think that's everything. I'm going to sign this judgment. Ma'am, we will mail it to you. Let me make sure, P.O. Box 65 still accurate?
No, sir.
Okay. What is your current address?
284 Bayport Circle, Springport, Michigan, 49284.
Shannon, are you showing that address?
I was doing my neglects. Let me check.
And sir, I've got you at 394 Meadows Circle South. Is that still right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we'll make sure copies get mailed to both of you.
No, I don't have hers, no.
I believe you guys have my parents' address down for me.
284 Bayport Circle, and everything else is the same.
Springport?
Yep. Okay, I am signing this judgment. You are now divorced.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see, what else we got? Simpson versus Pennell. You are Jamie Pennell?
Yes, I am.
All right, I don't see Ms. Simpson signed in under her name. I've got to check a couple of these phone numbers and see if she is one of them.
Okay, Your Honor.
I have someone signed in under the name Trey's Risky. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, Your Honor. That's my grandson. He's one of
All
the
right, so
minors.
she's probably on his phone then. I will.
No, that's not her. That's him. He's actually hoping to speak to you in regards to this and separately.
All right, well, I will let him in. He would be a witness for the setting aside the PPO.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll let him in. All right, and I'm going to check a couple of these other phones.
You said Brandy Simpson is the one that's present?
No, Ms. Pennell was the one that's present.
Thank you.
So let me see who's on this Moto E6 phone. I just let someone in my courtroom who's got a Moto E6 phone. What is your name, please? Well, clearly that's not her, but what is your name, please? Sir? On the Moto E6, what is your name? Sir, can you hear me? Well, it's clearly not her, and he can't hear me, so I'm going to put him back in the waiting room. And let's see, here's an LG Stylo. Let's see who's there. Yeah, that's not her. I know who that is. We'll put him back in the waiting room. And finally, we have a phone number. Let me see who's there. I just let someone in with a telephone number ending in 3303. What is your name, please?
This is Brandy Simpson.
Okay. Now we've got everyone present, so hold on just a minute.
Okay.
Did you catch that, Shannon?
I did. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. We are here on Ms. Pennell's motion to set aside an ex parte personal protection order that was entered in my absence by Judge McBain. Ms. Simpson, let me ask you first of all, do you wish for the PPO to remain in effect?
Absolutely.
All right, so I need to take testimony, since this was issued ex parte without a hearing, and that from that testimony, I will determine whether or not it's necessary for the PPO to remain in place. So, Ms. Simpson, would
Okay.
you raise your right hand, please?
Okay.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
State your full name for the record.
Brandy Lee Simpson.
Ms. Simpson, what is your relationship with Jamie Pennell?
She is my biological mother.
What is it that you believe Ms. Pennell has done to require a personal protection order to be in place?
Well, Your Honor, despite everything that was placed into the report to terminate, that is not the case, and I don't want to go into all the other irrelevant things. There's been a lot of situations with my mother as far as stalking. The night actually that she's talking of, the assault that I did plead guilty to, and that was only in order to go off to treatment myself for recovery court, and I pled no contest to that. I do actually have the video surveillance of that where I was jumped. I actually had called my mother for help. I did go and hang out with my ex-husband at the time, and we did get into a physical altercation. Yes, I was intoxicated. Obviously, there's no denying I do have a past history of alcohol abuse. In spite of that, I was attacked. I was taking my ambulance to the hospital. I had stitches. Half my hair was missing, a black eye, a broken nose.
Hold on, let me stop you. Who inflicted all of those injuries?
It was Mary Dingy, Jamie Pennell, which is my mother, and Nisi, which is my sister, Pennell.
Who's Mary Dingy?
Mary Dingy is my husband's children's mother.
So all three of these?
Yes. Well, first it started with my sister, Nisi, which I don't know if Shelly is right here with me through recovery court. She has the video. I don't know if there's any way I could send it to you. First it started with my sister, Nisi, who attacked me and was dragging me around, hitting me by my hair. And then I ran out, excuse my language, but calling my mom a whore, and which is when Miss Dingy, my mom, and Nisi all jumped on top of me in the driveway on Sutton Road at Mike Schimmel's house and were just repetitively slamming my head into the ground. And since I went off to treatment, when I was in treatment, I had video visitation with my 3-year-old Rory due to COVID. And my mom kept, despite of the no contact, popping up in my video visits and was asked not to, and she repeatedly kept doing that. So that is why I went and filed the PPO. She goes to my family member's house. It's too much. If it's one thing I've learned in my recovery, it is self-care and to set my boundaries. And unfortunately, that relationship with my mother also, as well as my husband, is just a very toxic to my life. And so I would like the PPO in place to keep from those situations being able to happen. She can't just show up to my residence, my work, to stalk me at my family members. I can't do it no more, Your Honor. And this I'm doing to take care of myself and make sure that I remain safe and okay at the end of the day.
So let's back up a minute. So this incident occurred when?
When they attacked me, that was back in February of 2020.
And this is the incident to which you eventually pled no contest to an assault charge?
Yes, because she tried pressing the charges on me. I was intoxicated. I didn't follow through with it. At the time, I did have warrants. I was on an alcohol tether. There's no denying the fact of that. I didn't get the video surveillance until I was in jail and my lawyer was obtained my phone and able to get through it. So after doing already 78 days, I just pled no contest to it so I could get out and prove the hearing itself and file the PPO. That's what I was told to do by my attorney. So But I had to
Okay,
eat to the charge to be able to go to rehab. So
so the video that you're referring to, was this on your phone? Was it on someone else's phone?
no, Mary Dingy videoed it, and also Mike Schimmel has his cameras from the house, which is where the incident happened, and said that he would provide those for the courts if need be.
Well, today's the day for the hearing. If you have a video you want me to watch, you should have produced it so I could watch it.
I wasn't aware of this. I just got served with these papers last week. I didn't know if we had to have I don't know how this works, like if we had to have an evidential hearing or anything. I do have it on my phone. I could come up to the courthouse, or Shelley, whoever, myself could bring it up there.
You've got a copy of the video on your phone?
On my phone, yeah.
Well, right now, the courthouse is not open to the public, so that would be a challenging feat. Anything else you want to tell me in support of a PPO?
No, like I said, I just am trying to set this boundary for myself to keep from any other incidents occurring in the future.
This incident that you describe was largely attributable to your intoxication, was it not?
No, they came to me, actually. They were drinking and came from the bar. Yes, it was all chaos, yes, due to my intoxication. But no, I am not crazy or made things that didn't happen. That is the situation and what had happened. It's not the only situation. There has been several other incidences, but this is the main situation. It doesn't stop, Your Honor, even after the no contact, even pleading no contest. As I said, she still repetitively is showing up into places in my life. And like I said, this is a huge part of my recovery. And that is what I'm trying to do, is set my boundary to keep from those things happening. So.
Okay. Ms. Pennell, are there any questions you would like me to ask Ms. Simpson?
No, Your Honor, I think we'll be able to address it in my statement. We'll be fine.
All right. If you can adjust the volume at your end, you're coming through kind of weak. I want to make sure everybody can hear you.
Oh, sure.
There should be a setting that lets you do that.
Is that better?
A little bit. Can you turn it up a little more?
Let's see. Sorry, trying to find it here. Okay. Right there. Is that better?
Yeah. All right. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Please state your full name.
Jamie Marie Pennell.
And you are Ms. Simpson's biological mother?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right. You filed a motion to set aside this PPO. I read what you submitted. I believe it's your general contention that Ms. Simpson does not accurately describe what happened. What's your version of what happened?
Your Honor, there's two incidents that she described. The one that she just told you, actually, I did submit with the first motion to terminate this PPO, the actual police report that she referenced, which included the video she's talking about. The video only showed the attack between her sister and herself, the fight. There is no video in reference to any of the altercation between herself attacking me, because she attacked me. I actually was not able to defend myself at all. As you will see in the police report with the first which she was not able to be served on, which was why it was adjourned at the last hearing. That police report was attached. She actually, you can see that it was documented in all of that I was actually the one who was injured. Her injuries were obtained between the physical altercation between her sister and her, and Mary Dingy and her did not have an altercation at all. She was severely intoxicated, as you'll see in that report. 2.5 hours after she was taken to the hospital, she still had a breathalyzer of 0.11. 2.5 hours after she arrived at the hospital. She was very, she was high on methamphetamines as well as severely intoxicated at that point, Your Honor. So her I guess, thought process as to what happened that night, I believe is probably not accurate. She did call me for help that night as she was fighting with her husband, as she does. I did come to the residence, and at the time, her and her sister did have an altercation and fight in the garage, as she described. Then she came out of the garage, and she was on a tether and had outstanding warrants, and she came out and then attacked me from behind, as the police report clearly describes. I didn't even see it coming. It was horrible. I was terrified that my own daughter was attacking me. She jumped me from behind. She slammed my head. You will see from the report that it was documented, my face was bloody. I had chunks of hair that she had pulled from me, which is why she pled no contest to it, because they would not allow her to not plead in this case. They would not allow it to be thrown out, even though she was taking recovery court again for the second time. She's been through this before, Your Honor, as well. This is her second offense DUI. She's done this before and had recovery court and not learned from it again. Unfortunately, this is a lifelong problem with Brandy. She does not have custody of either of the children that she listed in this PPO as well. By the way, she does not have custody of the child Trace Risky. She's not had custody of him since 2003 or 4. And I do have regular contact with him. The other child is in custody of the state, as she said, and I am the respite provider for him through foster care, and I am also asked to be at his hearings regularly. And so the one visit she described where I was there was by accident, absolutely not intentional. I did not know that she was having a visit with him at the time. I was stopping by to drop off clothes for him, as I do regularly. I see him very regularly, as I always have. I also have been the court-appointed supervisor by you for over 10 years with the child that's mentioned. There have been 2 other incidents where my daughter has actually attacked me physically, where she jumped on my vehicle and she's thrown her phone at my car. She tried to break out windows. She actually is the one who has stalked and attempted to injure me over her belief of what she thinks is going on between her husband and myself, and what she thinks is going on, whatever at the point she needs to be done. Unfortunately, she has some severe problems that she's not dealing with, and she manipulates the court to get that, whatever she needs. I actually, at the time of the conviction and sentencing of her, the assault and battery, because she did get recovery court, the prosecutor was actually asking for an extension. She had a no contact order against me. She was not to contact myself. And the prosecutor was asking that be extended for a year as part of her sentence. And then they changed the hearing date on that because of COVID, Your Honor. And so that was not able to be added into her sentencing. So then she went and got this ex parte PPO because she knew that the no contact order was not granted. Unfortunately, she plays these games, and if you were to contact the people at the PPO office, they would know her by name. She's attempted this 10 different times in the past to do this and been denied. Whenever she doesn't get her way with something that she likes, like when you said I needed to be the supervisor and she was mad at me, she attempted it then, as you can see from the letter from Nicole and David Risky. She's done this numerous times. Unfortunately, it's something that she does. And I'm sorry, that just is what it is. So I'm actually the one who needs the PPO and hoping to file that as soon as we get this one dismissed, because she's actually attacked me and injured me and been convicted.
Ms. Simpson, is there anything you'd like me to ask your mother?
Ask no, Your Honor.
All right, and I will give you a chance to respond to anything she said. Before I do that, Ms. Pennell, we've had Trez Risky in the room. Were you wanting to call him to testify?
I know that he personally asked if he could speak with you in reference to this, so I just would ask that you give him a chance to speak to you. He would like to do so.
Mr. Risky, would you unmute your microphone, please?
Hello?
And can you turn the phone so I can see you? Would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, please. You can put your hand down now.
Trace Risky?
Trace, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
How's it spelled?
T-R-E-S-R-I-S-K-E-Y. Brandy Simpson is your mother?
Yes, sir.
Do you currently reside with her?
No.
How old are you?
14.
How long has it been since you've resided with her?
Never. She's never had custody of me.
Does she ever have parenting time with you?
Not. I think the last time I seen her was like 2018 in the summer.
I'm assuming you weren't present for the incident that's been described both in your mother's and your grandmother's testimony. Is that correct?
Yes.
What is it you think I need to know in order to rule on this case?
That my mother is definitely, I don't know. The best thing I could say is I could definitely see like more of my grandma's side of the story than I can my mom. Because my mom one time, she freaked out on me just because I gave her a card that said her name instead of mom on it. But grandma doesn't really get mad easily, so.
All right. Well, thank you for that insight. Okay, Ms. Simpson, I will give you a chance to respond to the testimony. Is there any more you want to tell me?
Sure, yes, Your Honor. First of all, for one, I have never attempted to file a PPO in the past on my mother, as this was the only case, and things have gotten worse over the past couple of years that I felt it be possible. There's no denying the fact, as I said before, yes, I have struggled with alcohol over the years, and currently am 8 months sober and trying to get my life together. My son, Trace, does not reside in my custody, and Rory, my 3-year-old, is actually coming home next month for reunification as far as custody goes. And the courts did ask that they feel that it's appropriate that she be removed as the respite person. As far as just the personal situation, the toxic relationship right now is not appropriate. However, I don't know what else to say, Your Honor. As I've said before, I filed this she obviously is going to say what she has to say. If we need an evidentiary hearing, by all means, I will call the witnesses. I didn't know I needed to have that today. I'm sorry I wasn't informed properly, I guess. Again, I am doing this for my safety. I don't understand if she wanted a PPO, why didn't she do that in the couple of months, like I said, when I was in rehab? I do not go even around to Leslie to avoid seeing her. In fact, I avoid every situation if possible. I would just like to keep myself and my family safe and move on and try and remain sober and healthy in my life. And that is all I ask, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Simpson, I've got you at 401 West Chicago Road in Jonesville. Is that still a current address?
No, that is not. That is the Hope House Rehab, which is where I was when I filed.
Oh, okay. What is your current address?
It's 322 20th Street, and that's Jackson, Michigan, 49203.
And Ms. Pennell, I'm showing an address for you on Hull Road in Leslie. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor. That is temporary housing, as we had a house fire recently. But that is current for us now.
You are getting mail at that address?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I've listened carefully to both of you. I would agree with Ms. Simpson. It's probably good that the two of you stay apart since there's a toxic element to the relationship, but I do not believe that a PPO should be in effect. It's clear to me from the information that I've gotten from Ms. Pennell's testimony that the initiation of whatever happened at this incident was by Ms. Simpson and her extreme intoxication. I am setting aside the PPO. That concludes our hearing. Have a good day.
Your Honor.
Do you have an order, Judge?
Yes, I do. So I wonder to what extent the mother's drinking problem is attributable to her name. If you name a child Brandy, is there a likelihood that
Yeah, maybe.
they're going to develop? Okay, next up is Spar versus Cook.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, wrong guy. Sorry. I'll put you back in the waiting room. I'm pretty sure I had him in here earlier. I just grabbed the wrong telephone. Mr. Cook, is that you? Ma'am, we're waiting for an audio connection with him. I'm pretty sure I clicked on this phone earlier and recognized him when the image was up. Right now, I don't have an image and I don't have an audio connection.
Can you see me, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Cook, are you able to hear me? I'm going to try calling him. Do you have his phone number?
Yep, it's 517-914-1349.
Hello?
Is this Carl Cook?
This is Carl Cook. I'm in on the Zoom. I can see the courtroom, but I don't know. Never operated this before.
I saw you earlier when I didn't know when you sign in with just a type of phone, I can't tell who it is. And when I'm trying to figure out whether I have everybody present, I clicked on it. I recognized you in it. It shows you as being in the courtroom, but I've got no image and clearly no sound.
Okay. It just said, I had a message on the screen that said that you were going to get back with me here in a little bit. The host would get back with me and let me in. And that's just been a white screen.
I clicked on it, but for whatever reason, it's not letting you back in. But you can participate by phone. Ms. Spar is present by Zoom. I'm going to ask you, please, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt each other. I read Mr. Manzer's summary, and frankly, he describes what I often encounter when I have the two of you present in my courtroom, that you're both talking over each other and you're both talking over me. I don't want that to happen. So I did review Ms. Spar's submission as to what happened when at the recent visit. I'm going to go through that just so that it's on the record. Let me find it. And I'll give you a chance to respond to this, Mr. Cook.
All right.
So my purpose today is not to take testimony, but rather simply to address the issue and figure out where we're going to go from here. So we're here on Ms. Spar's request to limit your parenting time to supervised parenting time. And here's what she described as the incident that occurred on Friday, September 25th. Carl and his mother, Lois, came to pick up Isabel and Chloe. Both girls were extremely scared and did not want to go with their father. I had to drag Chloe out of the house. Isabel put Chloe on her hip and promised she would be with her and not leave her side, and carried her to the car. Carl never said hello to either girl. As soon as they got in the car, Carl started screaming and cussing at both girls at the top of his lungs in front of his mother, Lois. My mother and all my neighbors that were outside apparently witnessed all of this. This was before the car even left the curb. He had not seen Isabel in 5 months and had not been by to see Chloe in 2 months. Carl told Isabel she was going to be sent off for the weekend and that he was keeping Chloe by himself. Isabel spoke up and said she was not leaving her sister alone with him. Carl became extremely enraged. Carl's mother repeatedly told Carl to stop yelling. Carl balled his fist up and quickly threw it into the air towards the back seat. But stopped before he punched her. His mother, Lois, saw this happen Isabel and Chloe were extremely scared. I have a video of what happened. When they arrived at Carl's house, he told Isabel, and I'm assuming this is hearsay, something Isabel repeated to Mom, that if she didn't leave, he was calling the police on her. Isabel said, call the police, but I'm not leaving my sister. Chloe was on Isabel's hip and hiding her face from Carl and crying. Carl said his house was not ready, that he had several things inside he needed to move and take care of. He told his mom to take them to her house. On his way to his mother's house, Carl called his mother and said, don't bring them back. I don't want to see their faces. So this is her description of what happened on September 25th. And like I said, I'm not taking testimony today, but I would like Mr. Cook to give you a chance to describe what happened on September 25th. And Ms. Spar, please do not interrupt him.
Okay, well, number one, about 90% of that is all lies to start off with. I didn't start yelling at the kids when I was in front of Jen's house before we left. I wasn't yelling. I did get in an argument with Isabel because she wasn't listening to what I was telling her to do. I told her she was going to stay at her grandmother's for the first night, and then in the morning I had a surprise for them, and then I told them that I was going to take them to Indiana Yogi Bear Campground, but Isabel wouldn't listen to me. She did say, I'm not leaving Chloe's side. I will not leave her side. They're both completely brainwashed. The mom makes me out to be the devil. And on top of the COVID thing, Daddy don't wear a mask. Daddy don't follow the rules, this type of thing. So she's so freaked out about that. Look, she's got a mask on now? No, okay. Anyways, long story short, I had an argument with Isabel, and she wouldn't listen. I told her she was going to stay home. Why are you showing a picture of me to the camera? Anyways, this is just her way of manipulating the court and trying to take my rights away. I told you how I was nice and understanding with her being so scared and paranoid of COVID. I didn't even argue. I just said, okay, I'm going to let you have the kids. There was no argument. 6 months went by. Then why is she showing pictures of me? Can you see that, Judge?
I can.
Okay. Well, I don't know why she's doing that, but that shows she's stalking. That's my Facebook picture. She's stalking my page.
Those are pictures you sent to Isabel.
But anyways,
don't interrupt.
Anyways, this is just her way of manipulating the system. She already has my kids now at 7+ months. I'm just a dad trying to see my kids. And she's making it out like, I don't know, like Dad's the devil and no matter what, you can't do nothing. You can't see my kids. I had to go up to a window for 6 months, a window on a porch. I mean, talk about feeling low, going to see your kid on your ex's porch. And I had to see her through a window. I couldn't hardly even have the window open to talk to my daughter. My oldest daughter's so twisted that she doesn't even come to the window. She didn't come to the door one time, say hi, Daddy, I love you, nothing. I bought her a $50 gift certificate. That's so annoying. $50 gift certificate to a clothing store. She didn't one time say hi or say thank you, Daddy, nothing. Nothing. So she's got my oldest so twisted that she is completely against me. Now I let her have both kids for a while, this 6-7 months. And now that time away from me, she has my other one so twisted that she's scared and doesn't want to come around. I mean, this is child manipulation. I mean, it's complete brainwashed. This is at the point where I almost think there needs to be an investigation with her because she is hurting my children. I can't see my children, and I haven't done nothing wrong, and they're like scared to death. I can see how Chloe's so scared of like COVID. She doesn't. Try and tell her that there's nothing to worry about. You're not going to get COVID. You're not going to get sick. And they're wearing the mask on the porch. Like that's another thing. I don't get your order stated that I was not to get out of the car. I have not one time got out of the car since you stated that. It also states on that same order that that Jen is not to come out of the house. She has every single time come out of the house yelling, complaining, running her mouth. And I got it all on video.
So let me stop you. I anticipated you would have a completely different version of this event than Ms. Spar does, which is always the case when the two of you are in front of me. What intrigued me about this is we have a number of witnesses now to what did or didn't happen on September 25th. We have neighbors, we have your mother, we have Isabel, who I could hear from. I think Chloe's a little young. I wouldn't want to put her on the stand. I think I need to hear firsthand testimony as to what actually happened. So that's what I'm going to do. I want, if what she says happened is how you behaved, I have serious concerns about how that type of what impact that would have on your children. I'm not saying I believe her that it happened. I'm just saying that if it did happen the way she described it, it's extremely concerning to the court. If it didn't happen the way she described, her description of it as she has described it gives me grave concerns for why she's describing an incident in that way when it didn't happen that way.
Exactly.
The only way I'm going to get to the bottom of this is to schedule a time when I can hear testimony. I don't know what the problem is with your phone today. It may be that, I don't know. Do you have a good wireless signal, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, so it should have been coming through. It looked like it started to earlier. When I do this hearing, I want to be able to see both of you in person, but I also want you on Zoom, because what I'm going to do is utilize the mute feature so that I can hear uninterrupted testimony. Mr. Cook, you've been very good today about not interrupting me. Ms. Spar, I can see it's been a real challenge for you to avoid that because you keep wanting to interrupt. But when I take testimony, I can't have you both talking at the same time. I can't have you behaving in the way that the referee described, which I'm not surprised because it's what I often see when you're in front of me. He said, both parties engaged in interrupting the speaker, in this case the referee, on numerous occasions. The hearing devolved into chronic and acute chaos, neither party showing any respect for the opposing party nor to the referee. Well, that probably describes many of the hearings in which I've had both of you present, and it just gets in the way. I want to be able to hear what really happened. I will make a decision based upon what happened. I've got several witnesses. I want them to be subpoenaed so that they will appear. They will appear by Zoom. That's the only way we do hearings. I'm going to find a date to do this just as soon as I possibly can, but I want to give you time to get subpoenas issued. In order to get a subpoena issued, what you do, there's a form that you can get. There's a legal help site. I think it's on a business card or something that you should have there, Peter. There should be a stack of them. I think it's called Michigan Legal Help. Do you see anything there?
I don't. Let me look.
Are they up on top, maybe?
Your Honor, if I may.
Just a second. I want to give you this information first.
Let me see if I move that into a journal.
Oh, you know what? I think there's some out on the podium, Peter. I think there might be under the first shelf on the podium. I think there's it's MichiganLegalHelp.com, something like that.
Yep.
Hey, bring me that, please. So, folks, you might want to write this down. If you want to get a subpoena issued, you prepare it, and you have to bring it to the court. I will sign it, and then you're responsible for serving it. It's MichiganLegalHelp.org. And I think they'll have information there about how to get a subpoena. I think the clerk's office actually has some blank ones, but you've got to make an appointment to get in there.
Your Honor, I have just a couple questions, if I might.
Well, hold on a minute. Mr. Cook wanted to say something, so I'm going to give him the first chance. Go ahead, Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Your Honor. Number one, I didn't in that story of hers, I didn't ball my fist up and swing into the back seat and act like I'm going to hit my girls. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I want to tell you who the information you're getting this from. She is a pathological liar.
Mr. Cook.
Okay, I just want to say this.
Let me stop you. I'm not hearing testimony today. I knew I would get two completely different versions of what happened. But what appeals to me here is that there are other witnesses. She says the neighbors heard it. Well, then subpoena the neighbors and I can ask them. She said your mother was in the car for the whole thing. I want her subpoenaed. I will hear from her. And then after I hear from everybody, I'll make a decision based upon who I believe is telling the truth.
Okay, one other thing, Your Honor. You realize you've given me 8 weeks in a row after 7 months and not seeing my kids, and now all of a sudden she has this crazy thing that, you're to dad, he's acts like he's going to hit the girls and all this. This is complete BS. And I haven't seen my kids for 7 months, and this is her way of prolonging it. 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. I'm never going to see my kids.
Mr. Cook, I hear you loud and clear. That's why I want to get to the bottom of this once and for all.
Your Honor, can I say
Thank you, Your Honor.
too?
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that everything that I put in this is 100% the truth. My children do not lie.
I hear you. Ma'am, today's not the day for the evidentiary hearing.
But I wanted to let you know.
I know your version of the events. Thank you. I now have a little flavor of Mr. Cook's version of the events. I'm going to hear from witnesses, and I will decide based upon that. I will give you, we'll find a date. We'll send it to both of you. We'll let you know when that is. Thank you. That concludes our.
Could I subpoena for services too, because they have an open case on it?
You can subpoena anyone you want, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody you want me to hear from, okay? Same thing for you, Mr. Cook. All right, that's it for today, folks. You'll be getting something very soon. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a matter of McCravey versus Johnson. Shannon, Mr. Conant is here on behalf of
I'm here
one of the
on
parties.
Simpson versus Pinnell, Your Honor. It's a motion to terminate. It's Simpson versus Pinnell. I represent Jamie Pinnell.
My apologies, Dennis. I already heard that. She didn't tell me that you were going to be appearing.
Okay.
And I set aside the PPO.
Oh, good. I won.
You did. Good work.
Hey, it was nothing to it. Thanks, Judge.
I didn't. The only thing I saw your name on was this McCravey file, but you're not here on that today.
No.
Okay. Have a good day, Dennis. Sorry about that. She didn't. She never said a word about you being her having hired you.
Well, I'll call her. I was waiting on another Zoom, and I just finished with Wilson at 10:30, so no problems.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Okay, so give me just a moment to refresh my memory. So Mr. McCravey, and I'm sorry, Shannon, James McCravey the third is present, as well as Jessica Johnson, and I've got a James McCravey, another James McCravey. Who's that? Oh, okay. You were signed on in 2 spots, sir? Oh, we can't hear him. Mr. McCravey, check your audio settings. All right, while he's fixing his audio, I'm going to take a very short break. We'll just keep the meeting room open. I'll be right back. Fixing his audio, I'm going to take a very short break.
Can you hear me now?
Keep the meeting room open. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Fixing his audio, I'm going to take a very short break.
Can you hear me now?
Keep the meeting room open. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Fixing his audio, I'm going to take a very short break.
Can you hear me now?
Keep the meeting room open. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Mr. McCravey, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Thank you.
Okay, give me just a moment. So, Mr. McCravey, you're seeking to change the parenting time schedule to a week on, week off schedule so
Correct.
that it matches the time you have with your 6 other children.
8 other children. Yes.
8 other children. Okay, I see that. So you've got 2 children that live with you all of the time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Plus some of your wife's children who live with you all of the time?
We actually have 2, or she has 2 children that we have 50-50. So week on, week off.
Oh. And the 6 children that you have with another mother, when are they at your house?
Same thing, same schedule, week on, week off.
Monday to Monday?
Yes, sir.
Your wife's 2 children that are not yours, are there when?
Monday to Monday also, sir.
Same time that yours are there?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then the 2 you have together that are there all the time.
Yes, sir.
So when you have the kids that either yours or yours and your current wife, you have actually 10 kids there all at the same time.
There's 9 total. 9 total. Bennett's included in the 6 of mine.
Okay.
But yes, that's correct.
Oh, I gotcha. It's not 6 other kids you have, it's 6 total kids, including the one that's the subject of this case.
Well, so I have 8, well, 7 total. My wife has 2, so we have 9 total. But Ben is included in my 7.
Gotcha. Okay, so, and the schedule that Ben is there is what?
Right now, I have him, the first week is I get him Sunday evening, and I have him till Wednesday, I would say evening. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock, whenever Jessica can get there to pick him up after work. And then the following week, I get him on Friday evening around 6:30, and I have him until Wednesday when she gets out of work and picks him up at 4:30 or 5 or whatever time she can get there from work.
So the week that Ben is there, how does that correspond to your other children?
So the weeks that he's there Sunday through Wednesday are the weeks that I do not have the other children. When he comes on Friday evening, that's the same weekend, the end of the full week that we have the other kids. So he comes on Friday, spends Friday, Saturday, Sunday with them. They leave on Sunday, and then we have Bennett until Wednesday.
So if we switched your weeks with Ms. Johnson, would that be better than what you have right now?
No, because then we wouldn't even have the same weekend.
I got you. All right. And I know from the referee's summary, Ms. Johnson, that you are opposed to this because you don't want to be away from Ben for that period of time, a full week at a time.
Correct.
So what I get that. Ben is 4 4 years old?
Yes.
Is he the youngest of all of the children, or are there some younger ones at your home, Mr. McCravy?
There's younger ones.
Okay.
2 younger ones, but they're 18 months and 5 months.
Really young, okay.
Yeah.
And
yes, sir.
Is Bennett close in age to any of the other children in your home?
In my home, yes, he's 4. He'll be 5 in March. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and then I have a 6-year-old stepdaughter also.
Okay. So, ma'am, one of the things I wanted to explore is, short of doing week on, week off, is there something we could do that doesn't have your son away from you for a full week at a time, that you would be willing to consider?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to changing the schedule. I just think 7 days is a long time for him to go without seeing either parent, or, I don't want to go 7 days. I don't think that's healthy for a 4-year-old. If we've been really good about changing the schedule that works for us, the schedule that we have now is not what we went to mediation for, I think in like 2017 or 18. And we just kind of changed it outside of the schedule, without the courts being involved, and it was working.
I mean, would you agree that it would be better for Bennett to be at Mr. McCravy's house when the other children are there, as opposed to being there when they're not?
Well, I have 2 other children as well. I have a 9 and 7-year-old.
What's their schedule?
So I get them back. So it's kind of changed. Honestly, it's changed right now with their schools were closed on Friday. So me and my ex-husband had to kind of change the schedule. So right now they go back Sunday with Bennett, and I get them back Tuesday night. So they're with me Wednesdays and Thursdays, and Friday, and then they have the same weekends. They're home when Bennett's home, and then they're gone when Bennett's gone.
So you've got a similar issue to what Mr. Cravey is trying to address. If I change your schedule with Bennett, it's going to put him off schedule with your 9 and 7-year-old.
Right. I mean, they'd have the same weekends, but during the week it would be different. But right now, that's our schedule right now. I don't know what's going to happen if school starts again, or if it doesn't, because we'll have to figure something else. But like I said, that just happened Friday, so me and my ex-husband had to change our schedule as of last Friday.
All right, and currently you have equally shared custody with the 9 and 7-year-old?
Yep.
You each have equal time? I'm having trouble just getting my head around all of this. It's like a challenging scheduling issue. I would really like to do something to get Bennett at his father's house when the other children are there, if I can do that without terribly messing up your schedule. Would seem like you would both have to give a little bit in order to make this work.
And I'm okay with giving. It doesn't, I mean, if he needs to change days during the week, I just have to know. I mean, I kind of set up my work schedule for when I have Bennett. I work, the late nights on Mondays because I didn't have Bennett on Mondays, so I could have Fridays off when I did have him. So that's all. I just kind of need, and if I need to work with him during the week, it's fine. I just think 7 days is a long time. So if he can't see, his brothers all the time during the week, like me and my ex-husband, we co-parent well. It's, just a matter of calling and being, can I grab the boys tonight so they can see Bennett? It's me and Kevin's schedule is not set in stone. We kind of just, if something's going on or something changes, we work really well and fixing it on our own without, the court. So if Jimmy needs something to change for his schedule, so I don't have to go 7 days without seeing Bennett, I'm open to, changing days during the week.
Mr. McCravey,
Yes, sir.
Given what I've said, I'm very sympathetic to mom's complaint about not wanting to be away from this child or have him away from you for 7 days at a time. Do you think and I don't know how well you two communicate. I have no idea. Mom's shaking her head. Sounds like not too well from her perspective.
Not very well, though.
Is this something you're at least willing to talk about? I mean, is this something you can talk about and try to figure out a way to maximize his time in both homes when the other children are there?
So
that sounds to me like the best approach here.
And we have tried, and Jessica's also, came to. So we don't communicate at all. We are two different people, and we've come to terms that it just doesn't work. Her and my wife now, my current wife, actually communicate pretty well. When I get involved, it seems to stir stuff up. So what they've communicated.
Has your wife spoken to Jessica about changing the schedule?
Yes, sir.
Have you made it? Was there any headway made there?
No, and Jessica even told my wife that, I know it's coming because, back in 2016 when we went through a meeting, they told us, they look at a week off until the children are 3 years of age, which I still think is young. I've gave it, where I think Bennett would be okay. Like, what I want is a less choppy schedule. We're kind of all over the place with schedule. It's set to Friday to Wednesday and then Sunday to Wednesday. But with the rest of the kids, we have a set schedule. We know when we have them. That week is our week. The next week is the other parents' week. It works well. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old stepdaughter right now that have done this schedule for 2 years, and they've done great by it. For as far as structure goes, they're structured. They know exactly what their schedule is. And Bennett just kind of comes in the middle of the schedules. And it's hard to get him back on the, by the time I get him back in our structure and everything, he goes back to his mom's. And then she has her rules and her structure. And it just seems like if it was that week on, week off, it works well. It flows. We had the same issue with my other children before. And when we switched to week on, week off, within a month's time, there were no issues at all. It's great. And that being said, it don't necessarily have to go full 7 days. If there's a day in the middle, if we could do week on, week off, and Wednesday nights you get them and you have them overnight, and then we get them back from school on Thursday after school and we have them the rest of the week or something, just to split the week up. I'm okay with that. But when it comes time to vacations, like right now we're on vacation. When it comes time to vacations, we have to make a special circumstance for Bennett because we can schedule all the rest of our kids we have for that week. Now Bennett's in the middle. We get him on this Friday and he goes home on Wednesday, or we get him on Sunday. He goes home to his mom's on Wednesday. So when we're trying to leave or trying to plan something, it has to go around Bennett's schedule. That's what kind of it falls into place with, and where the hard part of it comes.
Let me ask Ms. Johnson. Actually, what he had said was something I was going to suggest, which is one thing we do when we have week on, week off to avoid a full 7 days of separation is just what he suggested. There's one day in the middle of the week where the child goes back to the other parent's home.
It's still a broken up schedule, so I guess I don't understand that. But if it is just the one night, then that's fine, just to see him or talk to him. But like Jimmy just said, with the vacations and planning, like I try so hard to work. Like this weekend was my holiday. It was Halloween. They had asked me, Brandy, his wife, had asked me if they could take him, I think it was to Tennessee. I try to be super understanding, like family things are important, and I would never want them to turn Bennett away. Like, nope, it's our time. So they did. They asked me to take Bennett. I think, he left Sunday night and he won't be back until Wednesday. So I did give up my time. I gave up my holiday so he could be there with her family, or with his family to visit her family. Like with me and Brandy, when we text back and forth or we message, like we try to make it what's convenient for both me and not necessarily like her, because she does a lot of the pickup and drop off. But so Bennett doesn't miss out on things with myself and my children, or with Jimmy, Brandy, and their kids. It was always like a mutual, like, yeah, you can take them, this weekend. It's not a big deal. Or yeah, it's no problem. We switch weekends, unless it was something we really couldn't. We've never had an issue with that.
So let me pursue this. Could we do the Monday to Monday with Wednesday overnight with the other parent on a trial basis to see how it works?
I'm fine with that.
Or even Thursday, because if we get them on Monday, I mean, I just threw Wednesday out there as an example, but I'm trying to try and split it in the middle of that week. It would to me, it just seems like it'd be easier to figure out one day a week than trying to figure out a half per week, or
I get that. The choppy schedule is harder to schedule around. If it's a set schedule of Monday to Monday with either Wednesday or Thursday at the other parent's home so that the week is broken up, does it make any difference to you, Ms. Johnson, if it's Tuesday night or Wednesday night or Thursday night?
I would just ask for a Wednesday and Thursday, because like I said, I do have my older children on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. So if it can be a Wednesday, or like Jimmy said, a Thursday, those two, that doesn't, if I could just see them, just 7 days
Let's try that.
Okay.
So you said Wednesday or Thursday is good for you, Mr. McCravy. Do you have a preference?
No, not at all. And we can figure that out. I mean, we don't have to have that day set in stone.
Can we do Wednesday actually? Because now that I think of it, like with my schedule, I'm out at usually 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesdays now.
Let's try that. So
I could get them earlier on Tuesdays. Or, I'm sorry, Wednesdays.
Yes. And then back to school or whatever he does Thursday morning.
Okay.
Let's give that a try and see if it works.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck to both of you.
There's more on there too, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking that was the issue.
Well, there were actually 3, but
and okay, here we go. We were talking about a change in school from Leslie to Western because it's closer to both of you. And I didn't really get any kind of a response from Mr. Manzer telling me how you felt about the school change, Mr. McCravy.
So there were the other 2 issues where one was the holiday schedule. With my other 7 other children, we have Eaton County, and then the other one was the school. So Bennett is enrolled in Leslie preschool right now. He's been going to Leslie preschool for a year almost, or give or take. And at first it was a daycare / preschool. This year it started off virtual as a preschool. We decided to send him back. That was discussed between my current wife, and Jessica, that he would go back face to face. It was too hard on my wife to have that many children at home to try and homeschool. So we all agreed that it was good to send him back. Jessica she actually called the principal herself and got it all set up for him to be put on the waiting list to go to Leslie face to face. And we agreed. She works in Leslie. She works like a minute from the school. I have one other child that goes to Leslie, and 2 other children that are actually transferring to Leslie. So it's a very good school. It's there. And right now I have kids at Leslie. I have a daughter that goes to Charlotte, and 3 children at Hanover. My children from Hanover are actually going to transfer to Leslie. So the fact that Bennett was already in Leslie and she worked in Leslie, it was convenient. So we're all we were just trying to make it a good school where he'd be with siblings. I know Jessica's other two children go to Western, but he was in a daycare at Western, not actual school, with younger children. Now he's actually in the preschool where he is at. You know, it's just a good setup for him. He learns, he does good there. But as soon as the paperwork was filed, this was like an add-on to the motion I filed, because the original the motion was for the custody time and the holiday schedule. But as soon as I filed it and she got it in the mail, she said, we can figure out something with the holiday schedule and the custody, but he can't go to Leslie schools. I don't want him to go. I mean, he's doing good there, so I'd hate to change him, but I don't. And then she did say to, come to a kind of a middle ground. I do not want my children to go to Jackson public schools. I went to Jackson Public. I don't want him there. He's already in Leslie. So I don't have a second school that I would want, and she didn't have a second school. So she's at Western, I'm at Leslie. It was just kind of one of them things that there's no middle ground there, I don't think.
Well, there's Northwest.
I didn't necessarily say Western. He was enrolled in preschool. He was going to both, like on his time he was in Leslie. What had happened is I was working in Leslie. He was in, it was Little Panthers at the time. It switched to Early Impressions. With Brandy had came up and said they were enrolling him into a different daycare on their time, and they said Leslie. And I said, you know what, that's fine. Why doesn't he just go there instead of, and we worked with our schedule. I would pick him up from school. He would only go a couple of days. When the virus, all that stuff happened, he stopped, but he went to Early Impressions because I still needed childcare I still worked full time through everything that happened. They turned so I live 35 minutes from Leslie. They turned that into a walk-in clinic, which we see patients, we can see patients with the virus. They gave me an option to transfer to Albion, so I wasn't, because bringing home that with Bennett's health issues and stuff, like all of that, they just didn't think it was a good idea. I had the option transferred to Albion, so I did. When we talked about that, Bennett is enrolled in preschool Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and it's now from 7:30 to 12:30. I explained to Brandy and Jimmy, there is absolutely no way I can make it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday to drive 35 minutes to drop him off, plus be there by 12:30 to pick him up. I just said, in the long run, yes, it is a great school, but why can't we come to middle grounds at something I never said Jackson Public. I just said a school in Jackson. If it's just preschool, why can't we have them set up? The only reason I said Early Impressions is because they have a childcare from 6 to 6. So they have their preschool during the day, and then there's options for childcare afterwards. So I can work till 4:30, and then be there to pick him up in Jackson instead of Leslie didn't have that option. And I can't make it there by 12:30. There's literally no way to change my schedule 3 days a week to be to Leslie to pick him up for just that short period of time. So I just said, he lives, Jackson area. I live Albion, which I have to go through Jackson. Can we just come to a middle ground? If he's not happy with Western, there's other preschool options for the time.
Have either of you looked at Northwest schools?
Not their preschool or childcare. I did Early Impressions because it was localized. I mean, it's only a couple minutes from, I'd say 10, 15 minutes from Jimmy, and it's 25 minutes from me. That's why I did. And he's already enrolled in there, and he was comfortable with the preschool program.
Yeah. So when parents can't agree on a school, you can't just change it. You can get it changed by filing a motion, and if at the motion hearing, I can't broker an agreement, the only thing left for me to do is to schedule a hearing, take testimony, and decide what's in the best interest of your child. I'm not going to be able to decide today what school. The best I could do is encourage you to look at alternatives, talk about it. If you still can't agree, he needs to stay where he is. But I understand your very real problem, ma'am. Is this something that you're at least willing to talk about? And I realize it's not you and Mr. McCravey, but it's you and his wife that had that conversation. But is that something you're at least willing to talk about? If not, I'll just schedule a hearing now.
I did talk to his wife. I did talk to his wife about it, and she said she wanted to go back to cosmetology school and that it just wasn't fair that she had to drop Bennett off so many times back and forth to school. And I understood. I said, that's why I said, if I can take more, I take up more days. If we were in Jackson, area, I could help more, or, Ben's stepdad could help more. But in Leslie, we're 35 minutes away, and 12:30, there's just no way of us making it there. Like by 12:30 or 7:30, I start work at 7, and I'm,
let me do this. I will set a date. Go ahead, Mr. McCravey.
I did call Leslie Schools also because she said there was not before and after school care. There is from 6 to 6. So when he's actually with us, he's staying until he goes to the after school care right now because they cut the hours to 12 or 12:30. He actually stays in the after school program until my stepdaughter gets out of school at 2:45, so that my wife doesn't have to make 2 trips. And it's not all about convenience for us. It's definitely not. My thing is I haven't looked into other schools because I don't want to send our child somewhere where he doesn't have siblings at. That was the whole thing. We have siblings in Leslie. We have siblings in Western. If it's one of them 2 schools, it's going to be difficult for us to get to Western because we have kids until my kids transfer from Hanover to Leslie. Right now we have kids in Hanover. We have kids in Leslie. We have kids in Charlotte. So it's a difficult trip to make in the morning and in the afternoon to get all them kids, we make it work, whatever has to happen, but I believe we can talk about it. We can figure it out. I just don't want him going somewhere where he doesn't have siblings, where he doesn't know anybody. That's what my biggest argument is.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I will find a date to take testimony. You are free to work this out yourselves before then. If you can't, then we'll come back. I'll actually take testimony and I will make a decision as to what's in your child's best interest. I strongly encourage you to try to work it out. I think it's always better if you can. There are pros and cons and difficulties both way and challenges because of so many other children being involved. I get that. I'm probably not going to be able to make a better decision than the 2 of you could together. But Absolutely. If you can't agree, I don't have anything left but to make a decision myself. So the last item is the holiday schedule. You wanted switched from Eaton schedule to Jackson schedule, was that right?
The opposite, sir. So we
followed. Switch.
Sorry. We
you
followed Jackson.
Switched from, sorry. You wanted switched from Jackson to Eaton.
Correct.
And I have no idea what those changes are. Again, this is something I would encourage you to try to work out. If you can't work it out, I will hear testimony and make a decision what's in the child's best interest. That's not something I can resolve today. So talk about it, see if you can make some adjustments to make it work. If not, we'll have you back here and I'll take some testimony and make the right decision.
Okay.
Make the decision. I'm not sure it'll be the right decision. I think you guys have a better chance of arriving at that than I do. But if that's what it has to be, that's what it has to be. Okay, thank you. Have a good day, folks.
You too.
Okay, and George versus Foster. We have Martha George present, and we have Mr. Foster present. Can you hear me now, Mr. Foster? Yeah, I had that problem earlier. when I was trying to figure out who was at that phone number. Mr. Foster, can you hear me? Ma'am, do you know his telephone number?
Yeah.
Why don't you give me that and I will dial his phone. Clearly there's a problem with the connection here.
Okay, just a second. His number is 313-808-1753.
Let's give that a try. Oops. Let's try again. Well, it didn't ring through. Let me try again.
Yes, hello?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
All right, we, for whatever reason, we were not able to connect you via Zoom, but via telephone works just fine for me. Ms. George is present on the Zoom hearing. Sorry to keep you folks waiting, but just had some complicated...
I'm looking at the courthouse, I'm looking at the room right now. You said you can't connect to me?
You weren't hearing me, and I couldn't hear you. But I can hear you now. And if you can keep this open and watch the courtroom, but we'll talk to you over the phone, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you're looking to change the exchange site.
Yes.
From the Sergeant, wait a minute. I don't know where you're meeting now, but you want to start meeting at the McDonald's at Sergeant Road, just because it's of the distance that you have to drive.
Yes.
And you're also wanting to change the parenting time schedule because you've got a new job that requires you to work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. For 5 consecutive days, with days off being somewhere between Monday and Thursday, depending on the week.
Yes.
And you want the court to order a mental assessment of the mother.
Yes.
Okay. So Ms. George, you were not present for the hearing before the referee. Let me ask you in sequence. How do you feel about changing the exchange location to the Sergeant Road McDonald's?
I don't feel comfortable from changing from the Jackson Police Department. This is where we currently meet, to McDonald parking lot. He is asking to meet me there at 11 p.m. to drop off the baby and drop off at 11 p.m.
All right, so that's not something you're willing to do. The next thing he asked for was to change the parenting time schedule to match his new job. Are you willing to entertain an adjustment to the parenting time schedule to accommodate his new job?
Yes, I am. However, Elijah is in early Hair Start program and early childhood program. So we do have a Zoom meeting on Monday. So if he's requesting for Monday, he will have to participate in that with Elijah.
Okay, is that something you'd be able to do, Mr. Foster?
What's the question again?
The program that Elijah is in requires him to be involved in the school program via remote, so he's zooming in, or whatever they use, whether it's Zoom or something else. Is that something you would be able to, if you had parenting time on a Monday, is that something you could make sure that he participates in?
No.
Why not?
Because I know that if I come late or even if I come early, her mother's going to try to use that against me. If there's more stuff that's going to be added to all the stuff I already have to do. It's some type of game or setup. I don't trust her with anything.
Well, I don't.
This is something she's just trying to do.
Hold on.
Trying to hold me to it. So
Hold
no.
on, Mr. Foster. If your child is enrolled in a school program, and you're not willing for him to participate in that, then I'm unlikely to accommodate your request to have any parenting time ever on a Monday.
I want him to be in the program to help him, but I know the way his mother tries to make these fake police reports and make up violate PPO when there is no PPO, and always trying to set me up. And on top of that, constantly sending me messages, trying to provoke me. I know it's a game that she's trying to hold me to see if I mess up. It's just another game. But if you want me to, I can do it. But I just think that it's just another game that she's trying to use against me.
I don't understand. I get that you're suspicious of her motives. But if your child is enrolled in a school program that he can participate in remotely, why would this be somehow playing into some kind of a trick? I don't get that.
Well, if it's remotely, I'll make sure he can stay with her on Monday so he doesn't miss it. That way I won't have to worry about driving back and forth on Monday. So yeah, he can stay with his mother on Monday to make sure he doesn't miss it. So you can leave Monday off.
What is your current schedule?
I work 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Our busy days are Friday, Saturday, but I'm off on Sunday.
No. I'm not.
I can possibly.
I'm not asking you your work schedule. I'm asking you your parenting time schedule.
Right now is Friday morning to Saturday night and sometimes Sunday morning. It's every other weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
And you're just wanting to change that from the weekend because you're busy then on some weekends. Your days off are gonna happen between Monday and Thursday, and it's gonna rotate.
Yes. But I know for sure I got Sundays off every Sunday. So that's why I was trying to work around Sunday.
So every Sunday off, but you won't necessarily have every Monday off.
Sometimes it might be Sunday, Monday, or sometimes it might be Sunday and a Tuesday. It just depends.
Oh, I got you. So your days off don't necessarily happen consecutively.
Correct.
And how far in advance do you know what your schedule is going to be?
The owner, he usually tells me a couple of days in advance, but he told me from now on I'll be off every Sunday. So sometimes I'll be off Monday, sometimes I'll be off Tuesday. But he said he'll let me know. But I know Monday, our busy days are Fridays and Saturdays. So Fridays and Saturdays, it's kind of hard to drive there and pick them up and drop them off. Martha was working with me, but she kept saying I picked them up too late and dropped them off too late. So she wouldn't work with me. She wouldn't adjust her time.
And when you work on a Saturday, you work until 8 p.m.
Correct. And then I'm 71 miles away from him. So I have to drive all the way there and drive all the way back. 71 miles. Not even counting weather or traffic or rain.
But if you're not going to have him on a Monday, that would, I don't see how this is going to work, sir.
Well, I was thinking that I'll just have to take off on Mondays and just get him hopefully Sunday and Monday and bring him back.
But you're telling me you're not willing to make sure he does his schooling on a Monday?
I'll make sure he does it. If she has to be remotely, I'll make sure that he's there for it.
I mean, that's something that the mother wouldn't even be involved in. You would just be logging him into school, and logging him out. It'd be just between you and the school. She wouldn't even be involved in it.
Okay, I can do that.
So you would pick him up Saturday evening or Sunday morning?
I could pick him up Saturday evening, but it'd be late.
And then you would bring him home Monday evening?
I could bring him home Sunday night or Monday morning. It's up to Mrs. George.
So, ma'am, he's proposing that he change his parenting time from Saturday night to either Sunday night or to Monday night. What's your preference?
Or Monday morning. You don't have to be.
Okay. Sunday morning, we go to church because it is, I like to have everything that's going on right now. We have a support system, so we all go to church on Sunday morning. So I don't mind him picking up Elijah after church. Is during the daytime. Of course, it's getting dark early on.
When does church end?
And church starts at 1 p.m. and end at 3.
So if he picked him up after 3 o'clock on Sundays, that would give him Sunday night and then would bring him back Monday evening?
Yeah, that's fine.
Does that work for you, Mr. Foster?
Yeah, that works.
All right. And mom's not willing to change the meeting site. The only way I can I'm trying to think, is there another police station rather than Jackson Police Station?
There's a lot of police stations in between Detroit and Jackson.
Well, I'm thinking there's a state police station just off Cooper.
Yeah, but that one's a little bit further. It's a little bit further than where I have to pick them up.
But I don't think there's anything else that's even close to that, Sergeant. I think that'd be the closest to the Sergeant Road. I mean, it's not that much farther. You get off on Elm Street.
Yeah, I used to work right there. I used to work right there at that prison. I know exactly where it's at, but it's going to be further away than where I currently go. That's why I was trying to see
further than the Jackson City Police Station?
Yeah, it's a little bit further. What about Chelsea Police Station?
No. Judge, the reason why I'm in very apprehensive of agreeing to meet with him because when I opened the line of communication in July, I got a lot of text messages harassing me, saying that he had a vision of me. I was laying dead, and he was standing over me. During the midst of the pandemic, I'm trying to provide for my family. Mr. Foster been harassing me, saying that I need to repent. I need to get saved. I need to accept Jesus Christ. Then he wanted me to get involved with a third party, people that he associated with. He says that he wouldn't stop harassing me until
I need to stop you. I need to be someplace. I'm not going to be able to resolve this this morning. It sounds like you're in agreement as to the change in parenting time. You can do that.
Okay.
In terms of the location, what I will do is do some independent investigation to see if I can find a place where it will be safe, and mom will not have to be concerned. My suggestion was the state police, only because I'm sure even though it might be distance-wise a little farther, it's going to be quicker because your freeway to Elm and Elm back to the freeway, it seems to me that's going to be a lot faster than coming into downtown Jackson. But if you can't agree to the state police, then you're going to have to keep meeting at the Jackson City Police.
Okay.
All right, I need to close the hearing. I need to be somewhere, so my apologies.
So is it going to start this weekend?
Is it okay if that starts this weekend, ma'am?
That's fine.
She says yes.
What time? Sunday?
Sunday would be, let's see, church at 3:30?
Yeah.
3:30 Sunday.
So Monday.
And what time do I bring them back?
Monday by 6 p.m.
Okay.
Does that work, ma'am?
Yep. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, folks.
So what about the mental assessment?
I'm not going to order that, sir. If I ordered one, it would be for both of you, and you would have to pay the expense.